All right, so this is the last example in the lesson number 5 sheet. It says to use technology to sketch the function and determine each point indicated. Round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. Hundredth is 2 decimal places, just FYI. I'm going to do the first 2 problems on Desmos, and I'm going to do the last problem, part C, on Calculate 84. So I'm going to go ahead and split screen with Desmos here. I still have some information from my last problem I did. All right, so let's clear that all out. So I want to type in this function. All right, so instead of f of x, I just do y equals. So let's see, y equals 4x squared plus 5x minus 6. Take a moment, make sure that this function that you were given matches the function that you just wrote. Okay, it does. I'm going to, first things, sketch it. A sketch is just that. It's nothing nothing perfect. Just gives us the right idea of what the graph looks like. I'm supposed to find the vertex and I'm supposed to find the y-intercept. Now, the nice thing about Desmos is you can just see these little gray dots here. And so these little gray dots are some key characteristics. For our vertex, we want to hit the absolute lowest point there. So that's going to be negative 0.63. Remember, we're supposed to round to the nearest hundredth, so that's 2 decimal places. And then negative 7.56. Okay, so that's our vertex. And then it also asks for the y-intercept. So you want to pick the gray dot here where you cross the y-axis. And that point is 0, negative 6. All right, so that first problem's done. Kind of nice. Not too much extra work there. I'm going to go ahead and slide over to part B. So for part B, I'm going to clear out this information from Desmos, right? The little X just clears it all out. And I'm going to type in a new function. Now, you'll notice that there's nothing here to really type in. So you need to select this open box up here, and then it'll give you the typing at the bottom so you can actually put the function in. All right, so y equals parentheses x. Whoops, let's try this again. Let's get an x squared going. Minus 3x, close the parentheses, start a new one. X squared minus 1, close the parentheses. All right, so take a second, because I already know I screwed up once. Let me make sure I didn't screw up again. Okay, so that matches what we've got here. I'm going to take a second and just draw a pretty little picture. It's a sketch, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of make it close. Okay. All right. So you are asked for some specific information here. The absolute minimum. So I want to find the absolute lowest point that this graph ever gets to. And that's going to be this point right here. I am going to do a little zoom in just so I can get a little bit better idea here. All right, so lowest point right here, and my little gray dot tells me that that absolute minimum point is 2.33 when we round it, and negative 6.91, okay? Now, there is another point right here. This is called a relative minimum. It is a minimum point, but because it's not the lowest, right, it's not the absolute lowest, it's called a relative minimum. So that relative minimum is negative 0.61, negative 1.38. And then we have a relative maximum, which would be this high point right here. Let's go ahead and select that one. So 0.53 and 0.94. All right. So that takes care of part A and part B using Desmos. Now, some of you might say, not really a big fan of Desmos. That's okay, you don't have to use it. For part C, I'm going to use Calculate 84 to find the relative minimum and relative maximum. So let me go ahead and, apparently I don't have Calculate 84 up right now, so let me go ahead and open that. There's Calculate 84, let me clear that. Quit out of all that mess. All right, let's go ahead and split screen with Notability. There we go. All right. So what I want to do is put this in for y equals. So I'm going to go over here, hit y equals. If there's anything in there already, just clear it out. All right, so x to the third plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. I have been known regularly and repeatedly to make mistakes, so I'm going to go ahead and check my work. I am good. So I'm going to hit graph first, and my graph looks something like this. Okay, it's just a sketch, right? But it looks something like that. And we are asked to find the relative minimum and the relative maximum. So the relative minimum here is going to be this low point. It's called a relative minimum because this graph is going to keep going to infinity. It's going to approach negative infinity here. And so I want to find this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the calculate function. So to get there, I'm going to hit second and trace. And I'm going to find a minimum. So it's going to be 3. Now, my left boundary here, I need to tell the calculator to look between 2 points. Now, right now, my left boundary is off the screen completely. It's at 2.65, which I clearly need to get this thing much closer to 0. So I'm just going to hit the right arrow here. And eventually, you will see this little blue X marks the spot. And what I want to do is get this little blue X marks the spot to the left of my minimum. So there it is. Once you are to the left, hit enter. Now it's going to ask you for a right boundary. So just scroll to the right. When you feel like you're far enough to the right, hit enter again. And you now are given this nifty little point right here. Okay. So the relative minimum, 0.95 and 2.65. Okay. So we're going to repeat that process, but when we're going to repeat that process, we're also going to look at the relative maximum, okay? So relative maximum here is going to be, did I screw something up there? Hold on a second. Oh, I did. Okay. Sorry about that little pause there. I realized I was reading the wrong information for the X and Y values. For some reason, there was another point on there. The little box here is the actual minimum point, and that's this bottom information here. So, all right, let's go ahead and get the right information for my... All right, so 0.29 and then 0.70 when we round it out appropriately. So let's see if I can not screw that up to do the maximum point. All right, so I'm going to go second calculate. And this time I'm going to go for a maximum. Now you can either scroll down or I'm just going to type the number 4 and it will immediately pick a maximum. So my maximum point is over here, and right now this little X needs to be to the left of that maximum. So there we go. You can actually just tap instead of hitting the left or right keys. You just tap to the left. So hit enter, I'm going to tap to the right, hit enter again. Now, for some reason, this is what's happening. The box is the actual maximum. This point, for some reason, is the one that is being shown here. So to get rid of it, or just don't pay attention to it, and you want to pick this maximum. All right. Well, that's what's going on. All right. So you can actually tap to put the point wherever you want it. But yeah, for our maximum point there, it is going to be negative 2.29 and 9.30. All right, so depending on which one you want to use is really going to depend on how you need to do these different technologies. If you have any questions or concerns, or you think I made mistakes, please let me know. Hopefully this helps. And if you do have any questions or concerns, always send me an email or a Canvas message.